Well, you may have heard about the news. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, a sitting member of the Supreme Court, his life and family were threatened in a real way the other night. And we're going to talk about that today because the political left in this country have ramped up their rhetoric, and it's getting very, very dangerous. Ed Battagliano, Tim Wildman, Walker Wildman, what happened here, Walker?
Yeah, an individual, a man from California, drove to Washington, D.C., across the country, and then caught a taxi from Washington, D.C. to Virginia to the home of Justice Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice. And in his bag, he had a pistol, a Glock 17 pistol. He had a knife, zip tie, duct tape, all kind of tactical equipment. And so he pulled up in a taxi outside of the justice's home, saw U.S. Marshals standing outside, kind of got intimidated, walked a couple blocks down and called the police and reported himself, turned himself in, and he confessed his goal was to assassinate the sitting U.S. Supreme Court member.
Now, the whole question why he turned himself in, he may have been, I don't know. We don't know why, but the fact is he went from California to the D.C. area, and he planned on killing Justice Kavanaugh. The rhetoric I talked about at the top of this, Ed, by the left, has been leading up to a point where violence could take place.
Yeah, well, Chuck Schumer, who's the Senate Majority Leader, famously now, and it's coming back out into
March 2020.
Yeah, March 2020, he, on the steps of the Supreme Court building, called out Justices Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and said, "We're coming for you, and you're never going to know what hit you. You've sown the wind, you're going to reap the whirlwind." And his own spokesman had to walk that back a little bit. We were talking before if Mitch McConnell had done that to Justices Kagan and Sotomayor and said, "We're coming for you, you won't know what hit you," I believe Republicans would have called for Mitch McConnell to step down.
I agree.
To me,
totally.
that's the difference between the two political parties, and the radical left has been ramping up the pressure on the Supreme Court ever since the May 2nd leak of the decision that we suppose will overturn Roe versus Wade. And this would have been a constitutional catastrophe to have assassinated a U.S. Supreme Court justice to stop the release of a decision that the Supreme Court was going to make.
Clearly a case could be made that Chuck Schumer, the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, has incited aggressive, violent behavior against Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, the Supreme Court justices. And you're right, had Mitch McConnell done this with two liberals on the Supreme Court, he'd been out. And rightly so, the Republicans would have called for him to resign as well. But being a Democrat means never having to apologize or say you're sorry or being held to account by the liberal media. All right, pray for Justice Kavanaugh and the other members of the Supreme Court that nothing violent happens to them or their families. We'll see you next time on Reason and Company.